It is Kanu ma'am is also here. We shall start now. Mansi, you may start, and Moini ma'am is the first speaker.
Yes, now we can start.
Shall we start?
Ma'am, just a second, please.
Sure.
Mansi, please start.
A very good afternoon to everyone. I am Mansi Chahar on behalf of Team Law Statistics and the organizing committee, namely Ms. Nikita Bansal, founder and CEO, and Ms. Shobna Agrawal, co-founder and managing director, welcome you all for this webinar and present our heartfelt gratitude towards our honorable speaker, Advocate Kanu Sharma ma'am and Dr. Mohini. Dr. Mohini is a civil judge, judicial magistrate. Also, she is appointed at Hodal District, Palwal. Whereas Kanu Sharma ma'am has expertise in civil, consumer and matrimonial matters and has experience of 10 years standing at the bar. Also, she is appointed as Prabhari by the state for the state of Punjab by Lawyers Vision. Ma'am, we are pleased to have you here with us, and without taking much time, I would like to hand over the session to you, ma'am. Speaker 1 is Dr. Mohini. Ma'am, please continue.
Well, thank you so much, dear. It is solely a pleasure to me to address you all on the topic crime against women. So Jawaharlal Nehru, our first Prime Minister, has said that you can tell the condition of a nation by looking at the status of its women, and very precisely has stated the state of affairs of the status of women vis-a-vis crime rate stands fortified by the horrific incident and the startling figures. Well, on September 14, a 19-year-old Dalit woman was tortured and allegedly gang raped by 4 upper caste men in Hathras district in UP. Her body was severely brutalized, her tongue was torn, limbs fractured, and a spinal cord damaged. The woman succumbed to her injuries in a hospital in New Delhi a fortnight later. Well, the sexual violence against women is pervasive in India. According to the latest data released by National Crime Records Bureau, India has recorded 88 rape cases every day in 2019. The northwestern state of Rajasthan reported almost 6,000 rape cases in 2019, followed by Uttar Pradesh with 3,065 cases. Well, these figures are likely to be just the tip of the iceberg, as only a fraction of women who are raped file a complaint. Most victims prefer to silence because of social stigma attached to the rape, and it is not uncommon for the victim to be blamed or for the aspersions to be cast on her character. Well, it is even startling to note that the gruesome crime vis-a-vis rape enjoys social sanction in India. Well, before going into these conditions as prevailing in India, I would like to state the relevant provisions which deals with crime against women. The first law, which is pertaining to sexual harassment of women at workplace. So, in order to cater the sexual harassment at workplace, Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013 was passed with the objective of providing protection to the women at workplace. Sexual harassment is when one person subjects another person to an unwelcome act of physical intimacy like grabbing, brushing, touching, pinching, eve teasing, makes an unwelcome demand or request directly or by implication for sexual favors from another person, shows a person any sexually explicit visual material in the form of pictures, cartoons, pin-ups, calendars, screensaver version computers, any offensive written material, pornographic emails, or any other form of unwelcome conduct of a sexual nature. Well, this statute superseded the Vishakha guidelines for prevention of sexual harassment introduced by the Supreme Court of India. Now, every employer is required to constitute an internal complaints committee at each office or branch with 10 or more employees. The Act covers students in school and colleges, as well as patients in hospitals. Employers and local authorities will have to set up grievous committees to investigate all the complaints. Any aggrieved woman may file a complaint in writing to the internal committee, local committee, within 3 months from the date of incident or the date of last incident in case of a series of incidents. The victim may also file a complaint with police under Indian Penal Code 1860. Well, the second crime, which is acid attack, is a form of violent assault defined as act of throwing acid or a similarly corrosive substance onto the body of another with the intention to disfigure, maim, torture or kill. Perpetrators of these attacks throw acid at their victims, usually at their faces, burning them and damaging skin tissue, oftenly exposing and sometimes dissolving the bones. Well, the long-term consequences of these attacks may include blindness as well as permanent scarring of the face and body, along with far-reaching social, psychological and economic difficulties. Section 326A and Section 326B of Indian Penal Code 1860 provide the punishment for voluntarily causing grievous hurt by use of acid and voluntarily throwing or attempting to throw acid respectively. Section 100 of IPC allows the right of private defense to the extent of causing death in case where acid is thrown or where there is an attempt of throwing acid. Now, the most atrocious form of crime is rape. It is known to be fourth most common crime against women in India. Rape takes place if a man has sexual intercourse, that is to any extent, into the vagina, mouth, urethra or anus of a woman and makes her to do so with him or any other person, or inserts or any other or to inserts to any extent any object or a part of body not being his penis into the vagina, the urethra or anus of a woman and makes her to do so with him or any other person, or manipulates any part of the body of a woman, so as to cause penetration into the vagina, urethra, anus or any part of the body of such woman, or makes her to do so with him or any other person, or applies his mouth to the vagina, anus, urethra of a woman and makes her to do so with him or any other person. Well, under the following circumstances, that is against her will, without her consent, with her consent when her consent has been obtained, by putting her or any person in whom she is interested in fear of death or of hurt, by getting her consent, by pretending to be her husband, when she does not understand the nature and consequences of what she has consented to because of unsoundness of mind or under the influence of alcohol, with or without her consent, when she is 18 years of age and when she is unable to communicate consent. Well, a rape victim can file an FIR in the police station under the following sections. Section 376, which provides for punishment for rape. Section 376A, punishment for causing death or resulting in persistent vegetative state of victim. Section 376B, sexual intercourse by husband upon his wife during separation. Section 376C, sexual intercourse by person in authority, and Section 376D, gang rape. There has been an amendment in criminal law in the year 2018. The Criminal Law Amendment Act 2018 is also a consequence of such barbaric incidents which shook the conscience of the entire nation. The demand for making anti-rape laws more stringent had started developing due to various child rape incidents. The infamous Kathua rape case and the Unnao rape case triggered this demand and this gave to the birth of amendment of 2018. Well, after the amendment, there is Section 376 Clause 1 provides for punishment for the rape of a woman to be a maximum of 10 years rigorous imprisonment, which may extend to imprisonment for life. Thus, the quantum of punishment has increased from a minimum of 7 years to a minimum of 10 years. Punishment for there has been a change in provision Section 376(3), which provides for punishment for rape on a woman under 16 years of age. And the punishment in such cases has to be rigorous imprisonment of a minimum 20 years, which may extend to life imprisonment. Well, Section 376AB provides for punishment for rape on a woman under 12 years of age. The punishment in such cases is defined as a minimum 20 years rigorous imprisonment, which may extend to imprisonment for life. The offender in such cases can also be punished with death penalty. Thus, for the first time, death penalty has been introduced for the offence of rape, considering the gravity of the offence. There has been a change. There has been such an amendment in the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 in the year 2018, and to meet the ends of justice in cases of rape. So, if a person is accused of rape on a woman of under 16 years of age, he shall not be granted anticipatory bail under Section 438 by a High Court or a Court of Session, and the amendment has provided for speedy trial and investigation, and the investigation has to be mandatorily completed within 2 months, and the appeal in such cases has to be disposed within 6 months. Moreover, the amendment has also made 2 changes in Section 439 of CRPC, and a proviso has been inserted which states that the High Court or the Session Court has to give notice to the public prosecutor within 15 days of which it receives the bail application of an accused of raping a girl under 16 years of age. A subsection has also been inserted which makes the presence of informant or a person authorized by him mandatory during the hearing of bail application of the accused in such cases. Well, under the amendment of 2018, Criminal Law Amendment Act 2018, there has been certain amendments in the in other laws like Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012 and the Evidence Act 1872 to make the amendments in consonance with the other provisions as contained in these acts. Now the next law which deals with obscenity and pornography. Obscenity and pornography have not been specifically defined under any act in India, but IPC, the Information Technology Act 2000 and the Indecent Representation of Women Prohibition Act 1986 deal with obscenity and pornography and make publishing or transmission, sale of obscene and pornographic materials as punishable offences under the various provisions. Like So there are other provisions which deals with obscenity and pornography. That is sections 292, 293, 294, 354, 354A, 354B, 354C, 509 of IPC, section 66E, section 67, section 67A, and section 67B of Information Technology Act 2000, and section 6 of the Indecent Representation of Women Prohibition Act 1986. The next law pertains to domestic violence. Domestic violence can be described as where one adult in a relationship misuses power in order to control another. It is the establishment of fear in a relationship through violence that includes other forms of abuse. The violence may include physical abuse, sexual abuse, and threats, and at times it can be more subtle, such as making someone feel worthless, not letting them having any money, or not allowing them to leave the house. An application can be filed to the magistrate under section 12 of the Domestic Violence Act 2005. Orders such as residence, protection, monetary relief, compensation order can be passed by the magistrate. Complaint can also be filed under section 498A for cruelty by husband or his relatives along with demand for dowry.
Sorry to interrupt, Dr. Mohini. You have to be aware of the timings. Just I wanted to remind you that you have to just
how much time?
Yeah, you just have to cut short whatever you are saying. This is just a reminder. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is the last act which I want to deal with, dowry. So to curtail the growing incidence of dowry torture and dowry death, a new section has been incorporated, that is section 498A of IPC. Section 198A was also added to Criminal Procedure Code in 1983. In 2005, the Protection of Women from Domestic Act was passed, which added to protect women from dowry harassment. And section 340B was added to IPC, which made dowry death a specific offence punishable with a minimum sentence of imprisonment for 7 years and a maximum imprisonment for life. Under section 4 of the Dowry Prohibition Act 1961, a demand for dowry is an offence wherein demand is made at the time or of even after marriage, even when cruelty is not removed. So these are the laws which deals with. These are some of the laws which deals with crimes against women, and the numbers are very startling. The numbers are very startling, which shows the grim position of the safety of the women. And according to National Crime Bureau Records Bureau of India, reported cases incidents of crime against women increased 6.4% during 2012. The another grim state is that only 27% of rape cases in 2019 culminated in convictions. This is all I wanted to say about this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for imparting us with your knowledge and presence. And we are pleased to hear you out. Now I would like to hand over the session to Kanu Sharma, ma'am. Ma'am, please continue.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to welcome our esteemed guest, Dr. Mohini, and I applaud her for her efforts to spare her precious time and talk about this very important issue, that is crimes against women. We had a chat regarding the rising cases of crime against women, and she came up with the idea of conducting a webinar on the same, because we wanted to highlight the aspect of a judge who is hearing such cases on daily basis, and how being part of judiciary, she is sensitizing this issue and spreading awareness regarding such crimes which are on the rise. So that is how this idea of conducting this webinar came. So I am really grateful that she's here and she talked about this important issue. Now I would like to continue with the same topic from another angle, as a lawyer, as a sociologist, that what are the causes behind rising cases of crime against women. See, first of all, as in every session I talk about education, very important tool, weapon for a person to grow in society. And one of the most important causes behind subjugation of women in society is lack of education. They are not educated enough to understand their rights. They are not educated enough to know about their rights. Even if at all they know about these rights or are aware about these rights, they do not have access to justice. They cannot approach the right pillar to get justice, because of which the cases of crime against women are rising. Another cause of crime against women, according to me, is patriarchy. That stereotypical attitude of society towards women is another cause of rising crime against women. Those old age cultural shackles which are existing in the society has led to low status of women in the society. Since they are considered to be inferior to men, they are not treated at par with another gender, that is men. And because of this gender discrimination, again, this crime is increasing in society against women. The main target of such crimes is women. And the reason behind this is low status of women. Maybe economically, maybe socially, because they are not well educated. And because of that status, there is gender discrimination, there is rising crime against women, they are not treated at par with men. Then there is another cause of such rising crimes, that is alcohol. Alcoholism amongst men, particularly in society, has led to increasing rate of crime against women. Since their mindset is that patriarchal discrimination is already existing in their mind, that gets triggered up when they consume alcohol on daily basis. Then to link this with another social problem, that is unemployment. Today people are unemployed, frustrated, not earning much, indulging into activities like alcoholism, and treating their women like this. To be very specific, I am talking about crimes like domestic violence, rape, marital rape. They look down upon women. And because of this gender discrimination, because of this attitude problem of men in society, this crime is increasing. Now, according to me, these were few causes which I thought has led to increasing rate of crime against women. Then when we are talking about crime against women, we are talking about various forms of crime against women. Be it sexual harassment at workplace, be it rape, including marital rape, assault, social discrimination, dowry, honor killing. All these are dimensions of crimes against women. Early marriages, acid attacks, no freedom to decide, no say in decision making in a family. So all these are one or another form of crime against women. Now I would like to substantiate all these crimes, the categories of crimes which I have just suggested. When I'm talking about early marriages, first of all, they are deprived of their right to study, get education, and rather considered only as an object to reproduce, start a family, cook at home, be a housewife, get married and produce children. That is the only duty of a woman as per the stereotypical attitudes of society. Since they are deprived of education, they do not know about their rights. Then, even if they get married, they are harassed for dowry. If they say no for marriage, they will be attacked by their male counterparts, maybe who are working in their office or maybe who are their college colleagues. They will be sexually harassed. They will be raped. Then in case they get married, maybe they do not have the choice to say no. So they will be considered as an object. Marital rape will be committed on them. Then this dowry, honor killing, female feticide, all these crimes against women have started from their birth till their death. So from day one to their last day, they are treated as objects. They are subjugated. They are dependent on men. They have to face that gender discrimination. They are subservient to the other gender. And because of all these reasons and the societal mindset, we have such problems which I have highlighted. We have such crimes existing in the society. Then indecent representation of women, not giving them equal pay for equal work. Still there is discrimination, even at the level of Bollywood. They are not paid equally. So such kind of discrimination, such kind of societal subjugation leads to such crimes against them. Now, another aspect of this topic is how to tackle this problem, how to at least decrease this problem. We cannot remove this problem totally from our society because crime is inevitable part of our society. It will exist. Our duty is to maintain that law and order. So how to decrease that? First of all, spreading awareness, educating girl child. बेटी पढ़ाओ, बेटी बचाओ. So ये जो स्लोगन है, इसका मीनिंग अब समझ में आता है क्या है. बेटी पढ़ाओ, बेटी बचाओ. So we need to educate our girls, women around us, so that they know their rights. They know how to implement those rights, how to get them enforced. वो जो rights हैं, वो जो laws हैं, जो मैडम मोहिनी ने भी highlight किए हैं, उनको implement कैसे करना है? They don't know that. Where to go? उसके बारे में aware करना बहुत जरूरी है. Sensitization of this issue is very important. And when I'm talking about sensitization of this issue, not amongst women only, but amongst men as well. Society at large, be it young, old, they need to know, they need to respect women as equal gender. Again, their education is very important. Their counseling is very important. Advocacy and empowerment counseling plays a very important role in decreasing such crimes against women. Such empowerment counseling is necessary at every level for both men and women. Counseling for men to change their mindset, treat them better, not commit such crimes against them. Empowerment counseling for women to realize their worth. Then another important point here is, besides education, we need to report such crimes. See, whenever we are talking about crimes like rape, domestic violence, all these crimes are committed in silence. We need to talk about it. We need to report this. Rather, under-reporting is the root cause of rising crime against women. There are many villages in my state, Punjab, where girls are killed for honor, in the name of honor. That is why Khap Panchayats are existing in other states also. That is why women are killed for making a choice of her own, to marry a person of her own choice. Recently, a judgment has also come regarding a woman's choice to live with a partner of her choice. So that is again giving them that power, empowering them, giving them that right, letting them know that they have a right to enjoy. They have decision making. They can them match or choosing a career. So reporting is very important. Educate them, let them know their rights, ask them to report it, how to implement those laws. Then thirdly, we have the legal framework already. We need to amend those as per changing circumstances and enforce that legal framework, implement that in every way so that women get justice in each corner of our country. So as an advocate, as a lawyer, this is my duty to give them access to justice, provide them free legal aid, give them free legal advice, guide them to the proper channel, give them the proper channel, guide them to the proper authority so that they can get justice. When I'm talking about acid attacks, we need to lead by example. Example of women like Lakshmi, who took up the initiative to voice against acid attacks. So like this, we need to lead by example. We need to raise our voice first and then expect others to do the same. So like this, implementation of laws is very important. And these erring laws, which are having some loopholes because of which we are not able to target the right culprits, we need to amend them as per the changing laws. So these are the ways in which we can control rising crimes against women. So that was all from my side, and I'm really grateful that everyone has heard me properly and given us time to speak on this topic. And my humble request to everyone as an advocate to guide such women in a very proper and effective way so that they do not get injustice and they are saved from criminals who are committing crime against such women. That was my aim of highlighting this topic from the point of view of a judicial magistrate as well as from the point of view of a lawyer. So that's all about this topic, crime against women. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, ma'am, for enlightening us with your knowledge. And we are very much impressed by your words, and we are really very much enlightened by your sayings. As you said that awareness plays a very essential role, and it's our responsibility as well to spread awareness and let women aware about their rights. And you focuses on women's education, which is a integral part of the society, that we should focus on women's education also. Ma'am, we are very much enlightened by your presence, and I would like to thank Dr. Mohini also and Advocate Kanu Sharma ma'am for sparing their precious time out to enlighten us with their presence. Thank you, ma'am. We are hoping for many more sessions with you, and even I would like to thank the participants and the organizing committee for organizing such a wonderful webinar. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Are there any doubts which are needed to be asked or what? You can post your queries on the chat box if there are any.
Thank you, Adil. See, in the end, I would also like to say that it's high time that we translate these fake promises into concrete action. We have signed many conventions like Convention on Elimination of Discrimination against Women, etc. On international level also, we have signed some treaties where we are trying to eliminate this kind of gender discrimination, but then it has not been implemented properly. So right now, our aim is to, convert those promises into concrete action. Because this pervasive human right violation which is existing on daily basis has to be controlled. Again, as Dr. Mumin said, a country cannot develop or grow if a woman of that country is not developing or growing, or her human rights are being violated. That country cannot develop. So her basic human rights have to be protected by people like us, judges, lawyers, law students. So that's all I can say.
I would like to add something.
Sure. Please, ma'am.
There is a need of education. You talked about education. So there is a need of education, including the sex education, which is still considered as a taboo in India. So there is a lack of communication between the families and the society at large, which leads to increase in the crime rate. So we need to talk in our family also what is right, what is wrong, what should be the behavior of a person. So we need to educate our boys also that this is right and this is a right behavior and this is a wrong behavior. So we should tell them the difference, and we should ask them to stand for their women.
ma'am, in the last session also, Dr. Mohini, we had discussed about prostitution. So at that level also we discussed that how sex education is important. How our girls need to talk about this openly.
Yeah.
Right? Because if they are making choices, like I said, that they do not have freedom to make a choice, to say yes to someone, to say no to someone, and that leads to crimes like acid attacks. Right? So that your suggestion is linked to that also, how we need to sensitize both the genders regarding this issue. That sex is not a taboo. We need to talk about it. Definitely.
Ma'am, there is a question from Bhavani Singh Rathore that how crimes are germinated against women.
Ma'am, would you like to answer it? Is there any specific person he has asked this question?
Ma'am, he is Bhavani.
Will you elaborate? What does it mean, how crime germinates against women?
See, I have already discussed that alcoholism, patriarchy, lack of education, the old age, mindset of society is are the reasons or causes behind, germination of crime against women. But then religion, culture should not be an excuse to commit crime against women.
Yes, ma'am.
So definitely culture, again, I have said in the last lecture that please define culture. I fail to understand what culture is. It is impossible.
Ma'am, the next question is from Rajni Garg. She says that ma'am talked about education of girls, but nowadays we can also see education has become more commercialized. So I wanted to know their opinion or suggestion for poor students or middle class family children who have zeal to study. What should they do who can't afford education? Good colleges and good schools offer more opportunities, but what about who can't afford it? Mama, are you there?
I guess there is a network issue on the part of Kanu ma'am. Mohini ma'am, you may answer please.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
I had lost the connection. Okay. So you asked about the education. See, there is a formal education, there is an informal education. For formal education, you have to get a degree. So you can get degree from a government college or any other college, whichever you like. So there are reasonable colleges also. I've also started from government schools and colleges. So there is no limit of education. You have to understand that being studied in a convent educated or in a very commercialized education education institutions does not enlighten you. It is just they are teaching the basics of maths, English, or any other subject. So that learning can be developed even with the advent of technology. We have like education. I think the education has become quite easy to gain, and you can learn from internet also. You can read about any subject. You can read about there are multiple platforms which provides for online education also. You can try that. As regards to schools and colleges, I think I am not the right person to talk about it.
Ma'am,
But I am the right person to talk about it.
Sure.
I also want to talk about this education.
Who is presenting the screen? Please stop presenting the screen.
Hanji. See, regarding this question, first of all, there was a network error at my end. So, regarding this question, absolutely, education has become an industry. We have commercialized education in every way. But then somehow students are also responsible for this. If they will start running towards institutions or colleges who are, asking for exorbitant fees, and they think that they will teach better because they are, teaching in at fees, such an exorbitant fees. So definitely that kind of mindset will affect your level of education as well. So never think that if more fees is charged, then they will teach better. Never think that. And moreover, students are not interested in studying. They do not appear for entrance exams, and they end up landing in private colleges, which have totally commercialized education, and they have made it an industry. So if they want education without entrance, then definitely they will have to face this commercialization of education. Then talking about students who cannot afford it, must approach teachers who are genuinely interested in teaching. Even if they are teaching at their places, in their drawing rooms or in their rooms, then you must respect that and visit such places rather than looking for infrastructure where benches are there. Typically video conferencing is going on, and you are attracted more towards those educational institutions. Definitely you should avoid that also. And believe in yourself first. Do self-study at home and get some guidance from good teacher. I am 100% sure that there must be some teachers who are giving guidance free of cost, right? So we should approach such teachers. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, the next question, Jaswinder, just post your query in the chat box.
I just want to add something to it.
Please go ahead.
The session was exceptionally good. If both of you may agree with me, both the main speakers, see, don't you think the dynamics of approaching the crime against women have already changed a lot? See, insofar as education part is concerned, I'll be very brief. In the government schools, in the private schools, it is mandatory that a psychologist or a counselor has to be there. So that part is covered. Now, adolescents, let's talk about, there has to have these steps, insofar as physical crime against adolescents is concerned, when boys again are at they may also face the young adolescent boy as well as young adolescent girls. So, secondly, don't you think that that certain part of the law is being exploited by the female gender insofar as matrimonial laws are concerned? In fact, I'm not saying on the practical part of it, because when a complaint under Domestic Violence Act is filed, the first step is they are referred to a counselor, who happens to be a public
Protection officers.
So I'll say that of course, the root cause for all the crimes is the same. There may be lack of awareness now. Education is there. But I think we need to, just an idea from my side, that we need to approach it from a different dynamics, We are living in a different, now crime against females now. The physical crime.
See, the topic was crime against women. That is why we specifically talked about crime against women. That was the only reason. Otherwise, we do not have that kind of discrimination in our minds that we should avoid the topic where crime is committed against men also. That's true. That's totally correct. That definitely even men are facing this. Even these dowry laws are misused daily. Even ma'am would agree to that, because she also knows that how women and their families are. Example 498A, etc. So we totally agree with you on that level. But then we were talking about crime against women. That is why we focused on it. Thank you for adding that also. Thank you for us that, please.
Ma'am, the next question is, what are the major factors which lead to crime against women?
I've already talked about it. See, major factors यही हैं कि जो मुझे समझ में आती है. जब मैं एजुकेशन की बात करती हूँ मैं थोड़ा स्पेसिफिकली हिंदी में आ जाती हूँ, शायद मे बी आई एम नॉट बीइंग एबल टू एक्सप्रेस इट क्लियरली, क्योंकि मैं 2 बार ऑलरेडी इसके बारे में बात कर चुकी हूँ।
No issues,
See,
ma'am.
जब मैं बोलती हूँ patriarchy and the patriarchal attitudes, when I say that that kind of mindset is prevailing, if a man from my family, for example, my younger brother or my son is educated enough, पहली बात तो या तो उसकी लो लेवल ऑफ एजुकेशन होगा, जो पढ़ाई 10वीं 12वीं तक है, उसको पता ही नहीं कि वुमेन को कैसे ट्रीट करना है।
Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है, बहुत सारे हमारे गांव में, मैं भी टाउन से हूँ, ठीक है, तो बहुत सारे हमारे गांव में ऐसा होता है कि 10वीं 12वीं तक पढ़े हुए हैं, उनको पता ही नहीं है कि वुमेन को ट्रीट कैसे करना है। ठीक है, उनको पता ही नहीं कि अल्कोहल कितने लेवल तक पी के अपनी वाइफ को ट्रीट कैसे करना है, या अपनी सिस्टर्स को। मे बी डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस का मतलब यही नहीं है कि सिर्फ आप अपनी जो है वाइफ को ही मारोगे पीटोगे। ठीक है, तो वाइफ की भी वायलेंस हो सकती है। We are not talking about DV Act specifically 2005. We are talking about violence committed at home. Maybe violence is committed publicly also. Maybe they are physically, mentally, emotionally humiliated. Right? When I'm talking about financially humiliated means they are deprived of money. They are not provided with those financial means. लेडी को पैसे ही नहीं देते घर पे अपनी नीड्स पूरी करने के लिए, जानबूझ के कि भाई अच्छा ऐसी बैठी रहेगी, उसको पैसे ही नहीं देते। So that kind of exploitation is also done against women. ठीक है, तो लो लेवल ऑफ एजुकेशन होगा, दे आर नॉट बीइंग एबल टू ट्रीट देम एट पार, उनको पता ही नहीं कि जेंडर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन रोकना कैसे है, उनको पता ही नहीं कि इनके साथ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन करना ही नहीं है, इट इज नॉट अलाउड। दे आर ऑल्सो ह्यूमन बीइंग्स, डोंट ट्रीट देम एज मेल, एम और एफ, मेल और फीमेल, ट्रीट देम एज अनदर ह्यूमन।
Yes, ma'am.
राइट, तो इस तरह से जेंडर सेंसिटाइजेशन बड़ी जरूरी है, जिसकी वजह से ये सब हो रहा है। अल्कोहलिज्म, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट इतना बढ़ गया है, कोरोना की बात कर लो या बिना कोरोना के बात कर लो, इतना अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ गया है हमारे विलेजेस टाउन्स में। मेन आर सिटिंग आइडल, दे आर डूइंग नथिंग।
Yes, ma'am.
6 बजते ही दे विल टेक देयर ग्लासेस एंड स्टार्ट ड्रिंकिंग। तो अल्कोहलिज्म के बारे में इसलिए मैंने बात की है। ड्रग्स भी बोल सकती हूँ मैं, फिर वो ड्रग अब्यूज स्टार्ट हो जाएगा, एक नया टॉपिक स्टार्ट हो जाएगा। Point is that they lose their senses and commit crime against them.
Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है, कि चाहे उनको फिजिकली अब्यूज करें, असॉल्ट, बैटरी, कुछ भी करें ऐसा कि भाई गलत बोल दिया है ना, उसकी फैमिली मेंबर्स को सोशली ह्यूमिलिएट कर दिया, या उसको मारा, उसके साथ रेप कमिट किया बाहर किसी लड़की के साथ, या अपनी वाइफ के साथ मैरिटल रेप किया। राइट, तो इस तरह से ये सब चीजें जो है इंटरलिंक्ड है। ठीक है, पैट्रियार्कियल सोसाइटी में माइंडसेट पता ही नहीं है कि क्या लेडी को कैसे ट्रीट करते हैं। तो सो अकॉर्डिंग टू मी दीज आर द मेन फैक्टर्स बिहाइंड इंक्रीजिंग क्राइम। अब अगर आप लड़की को, वही मैम वाली बात, अगर आप लड़की को दोष दोगे कि जी उसने छोटे कपड़े पहने हुए थे तो मैंने रेप कमिट कर दिया, देन सॉरी, यू नीड टू चेंज योर माइंडसेट।
Ma'am, the next question. Next question is, I would like to ask, in the COVID situation, Government of India already created the regulations about lockdown and physical distancing. Everyone never meet each other. Is that any correlation with the cases of rape? Also, is the crime rate decreased or not? And is the regulation about lockdown also can help the Indian government to handle crime and rapes in India?
See, if you are specifically talking about rapes, then definitely रेप का तो फिर भी थोड़ा कोई चांस है कि कम हो गया हो, बिकॉज बाहर ही नहीं जा रहे आप लोग। जब आप कोरोना में अंदर ही बैठे हो, आपकी बात नहीं कर रही मैं, लॉकडाउन पीरियड की बात कर रही हूँ। तो वैसे अगर आप अंदर बैठे हो, उसका सेकंड साइड क्या है, फ्रस्ट्रेशन बढ़ गई है, एंगर बढ़ गया है। ठीक है, वो एंजाइटी इश्यूज आ गए हैं कि नहीं भी अगर आप फ्रस्ट्रेट हो रहे हो तो आप अपनी वाइफ पे फ्रस्ट्रेट हो रहे हो, तो वहां पे डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस इज ऑन राइज। ठीक है, मैरिटल रेप इज ऑन राइज, राइट, सोशल ह्यूमिलिएशन, असॉल्ट इज ऑन राइज। तो इस तरह से ऑब्वियसली द सिचुएशन हैज चेंज्ड विद कोरोना, बट देन दिस इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल ऑन रेप्स। You can say that marital rapes have increased, domestic violence has increased, but not exactly rape, which is publicly committed, because definitely if we are under lockdown period, we are not going out.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So that is it.
Ma'am, the next question is from Rajni Garg. What beginner steps we can take to prevent crimes against women?
See, beginner steps तो यही है, बेटी पढ़ाओ बेटी बचाओ। That's the only step you can take right now. अगर हम इंडिपेंडेंट होंगे, फाइनेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट होंगे, किसी पर डिपेंडेंट नहीं है, किसी से पैसे नहीं मांग रहे, तो हमें किसी के अधीन होने की, सबसर्विएंट द वर्ड विच आई यूज्ड, अधीन होने की जरूरत नहीं, ठीक है ना। वही जो हमें सब्जुकेट करते हैं लोग, इंफीरियर समझते हैं फ्रॉम द अदर जेंडर, वो चीज नहीं समझेंगे, बिकॉज वी आर इंडिपेंडेंट, राइट, वी आर वर्किंग, वी आर फाइनेंशियली नॉट डिपेंडेंट। तो इस तरह से एजुकेशन प्लेज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल, राइट, यू नीड टू अर्न योर लाइवलीहुड, सो दैट काइंड सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट तो एजुकेशन ही बनता है। देन सेंसिटाइजेशन ऑफ द अदर जेंडर is also important, again that is part and parcel of education only, ठीक है ना, कि आप उनको सेंसिटाइज करो कि आपने कैसे ट्रीट करना है लेडी को, यू ऑल्सो नीड टू सी दैट, ठीक है। सो वो एक इम्पॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है कि जो बिगिनर स्टेप ये लिए जा सकते हैं। एज एन एडवोकेट मेरी ड्यूटी बनती है कि जितना ज्यादा लोग मुझे रीच आउट कर रहे हैं, अगर मैं पब्लिक फिगर हूँ, मुझे लोग रीच आउट कर रहे हैं, आई नीड टू एड्रेस दोज इश्यूज, आई नीड टू गो and visit police stations and women's cells and give them that redressal from the injury which they have got because of crimes committed against them, right? So ये सब चीजें empowerment counseling at all levels can be done, है ना, पंचायत में बैठ के भी हो सकती हैं, there is no need to conduct these webinars and go to police stations, you can do it at your grassroots level, राइट, पंचायत में बैठ के भी तो कितने सारे प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होते हैं। देन व्हाई नॉट क्राइम अगेंस्ट वुमेन, बहुत सारी पंचायतों में तो जिसने रेप किया उसको शादी भी करनी पड़ती है लड़की के साथ, ठीक है ना। तो उस तरह की काउंसलिंग भी जरूरी है कि भी आप पहले ऐसी हरकत ही मत करो, लेटर ऑन जो ऐसी सिचुएशन आए, तो कॉम्प्रोमाइजेस एट दैट लेवल आल्सो, वो भी आप अपने लेवल पे कर सकते हैं। थैंक यू
Ma'am, as of now, no other queries are there. Ma'am,
Any other question?
as of now, no other queries are there. If anyone is having any query, can you please put it in the chat box?
yes, there is a difference between theory and practice, and this is what we are talking about in this webinar, that we need to do it on a practical level. Don't read those books and don't have those laws in hand and say कि भाई इसको materialize भी तो करो, implement भी तो करो, execute भी तो करो, वही करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। See, I am unmarried at the age of 33, right? I'm sitting here, I'm independent, I'm earning my livelihood, I'm educated, I'm not dependent on anyone. This is the kind of empowerment I am teaching by giving an example, leading by example. This is all I can do at this level to encourage women around me, to encourage girls who are looking at me. ठीक है ना, तो इस तरह से आप बिगिनर्स लेवल पे ये सब कर सकते हो, प्रैक्टिकली उसको कर सकते हो। थियरी में नहीं मैं बोल रही, मैं प्रैक्टिकली कर रही हूँ, ठीक है ना। तो दैट इज इट, थैंक यू। You may disagree with some points, that is totally okay to have a different opinion. I really respect your opinion, and definitely Adil is also saying that we need to sensitize the other gender. Again, he is saying that अपने भाई बंधुओं को हमें जो है सन और जो फादर्स अंकल्स हैं उनको एजुकेशन देने की जरूरत है। That's totally correct. Certainly we need to do that. एंड सबसे पहला स्टेप तो आपका आ जाता है फीमेल फिटिसाइड ही सबसे बड़ा क्राइम है। अभी तो लड़की पैदा ही नहीं हुई कि आपने क्राइम कर दिया उसके अगेंस्ट। तो सबसे बड़ा क्राइम तो मुझे लगता है फीमेल फिटिसाइड, ठीक है ना। सो बट टिल डेथ शी इज फेसिंग क्राइम अगेंस्ट हरसेल्फ।
Now, as of now, no queries are there, so we can move towards the end of this session.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Mohini ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mohini ma'am. Thank you so much, Kanu ma'am, for giving your time to us. Thank you so much. Okay, everyone can start leaving, and please fill out the attendance form before you leave, and kindly do the needful for the certificates. It's mentioned there in the Google form what all steps you need to follow. So kindly do that.